Good. All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, or should I say good evening to those of you on the East Coast. Welcome to coverage of the APA World Pool Championships from here at the Westgate Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. This event, of course, brought to you by the American Pool Players Association. I'm your host, Jason Bowman. I'm joined by the striking Viking, Ava Mattia Lawrence. Ava, it's been a wild ride the last 10 days. All good things must come to an end, and today it ends with the granddaddy of them all, the 8-Ball World Championship.
Pretty amazing. This is it.
From 713 teams, folks, we are down to the last two, and they're going to be competing for $25,000 in cash in this final round. As you're taking a look at what's on the line here in the match, we just watched a couple of excellent semifinal round matches. Both of those teams that survived to the Final Four walking away with $7,500 in prize money, so a nice payday for them. But now we are focused on the final round, and in the final round we have, from Evansville, Indiana, we have the team of Believe the Hype, and from Harahan, Louisiana, we have the team of Make It Work. Of course, I know that says Evansville, Tennessee, but our producers will get that fixed to Evansville, Indiana here momentarily. As the
Way
players
to stay on top of things.
Yeah. As the players prepare for the match, let's take a look at some of the real quick rules for those of you that are not necessarily acclimated with APA rules. Of course, for the 8-Ball World Championship here, you have teams of male and female players. Each team has a maximum of 8 players on a roster. Teams will choose up to 5 players to compete in a match. So of the 8 players on a particular roster, you can expect to see up to 5 players in a match. Of course, there is the handicap limit of 23 for all of the players combined. That is their skill levels. Those 5 players' skill levels cannot exceed a total of 23. Players may be coached once per game. Sometimes we see that come into play. APA rules, of course, apply, and this particular event is played with the 3-point scoring system, meaning in each individual match, there are up to 3 points possible. So in the case of the shutout, the winner will get 3 points, the opponent will get none. In the case of a player, the losing player making it to the hill, meaning they only need 1 game to win, the opponents will split 2-1. And when the losing player wins at least 1 game but does not make it to the hill, the players are going to split the points 2-0. So we'll hope to see 5 matches and hopefully a really close battle, Ava.
Well, the last one sure was an indication of that it should
Absolutely.
be close. Went all the way down to the wire in the 5th match, Hill. It was pretty exciting. It was
Absolutely
loud and exciting in here.
And we do apologize for the late start, but with really good matches means long matches, right? So
True.
Close, tight matches means we're running about an hour behind schedule, but I think the teams are currently looking at which players they are prepared to put up, kind of discussing their team strategy. Once they do that, we'll have the lag for the break, and from there the break, and we will be underway. So nice crowd, I think, that's settled in here, Ava. Maybe that's why it's a little warm in here at the moment.
Yeah, it did get a little warm,
Yeah.
didn't it? We had a huge crowd yesterday for the Masters, and I figured, well, it's the Masters. A lot of people get excited because it's, such unbelievable play on display.
Right.
But I tell you what, this room is packed right now.
Right, and we've seen some outstanding finals matches this week, folks. Of course, we had 5 different championship matches, today's being the 5th. But like you mentioned last night, we had the Masters champions, of course, the team from Orange County of We Are One, played one heck of a match, capped it off with 2 9 on the snaps to put the match away, which was very cool. The room went absolutely crazy. Our producers offset are talking to the team captains now, figuring out who our first competitors will be for each of these teams. Again, we mentioned, started with 713 teams here in the 8-ball division. Started this event Monday afternoon. 6 days later, we're down to just 2. We're going to let the players we're ready to go. And as soon as our producers indicate to us who those particular players are for each team, we will share that information with you.
I did watch Make It Work play a little bit last night. I was watching some of the
team from Louisiana.
Yeah, and it really played solid. Not, like top of the excellence and all that, but very fearless. And each player, I watched 2 of the matches. The 2 players I watched just very okay with being here and took their time, and it was kind of fun to watch. The other team was a little bit more rattled, perhaps, but they looked very, very comfortable when they were playing.
Yeah, it gets pretty intense when you get to this point of the tournament. I mean, the amount of prize money that's on the line goes up. The amount of teams in the tournament is down. There's generally more of a crowd watching and that kind of thing. So it looks like in our first match here, we're going to have the team from Evansville, Indiana, Believe the Hype, is going to put up Daniel Field. who is a skill level 5. And he is going to be opposed by Doyle Calder, skill level 4, for the Make It Work team from Louisiana. And it looks like, to me, from here, Doyle wins the lag.
It's close.
And then I'm not sure if they're waiting on a referee, but from what I can tell, which sometimes doesn't mean a lot from our vantage point here to the side,
true.
we'll let the referee rule, and it looks like he's indicated that Doyle did, in fact, win the lag. So in a 4-5 race, folks, we are looking at a 3-4 race overall. Doyle will need to get to 3 games before Daniel gets to 4. You can see here Daniel Field of the Believe the Hype team preparing the rack. Crowd still settling in somewhat. Got to be a couple hundred people in attendance at this point, which is nice.
I would think so, at least.
And it'll be interesting to see what effect that has on these teams, because again, it's a it's a far cry from the local pool room or bar where these guys play their normal league play, right, Ava?
Yeah, and even in the prior, I mean, it's been 700 and some teams in here, but the thing is, everybody's been focusing on what they're doing on their match, but here, everybody in this room are watching you. It's being streamed, so your friends at home are probably watching. And the added pressure until you've been in the cooker like this,
right,
you don't really know how it's going to affect you. So it'll be interesting to see who can hold it together.
So it looks like that the players are prepared. They're just waiting for the signal to break.
And here we go.
Doyle Calder approaches the table. Again, he's a skill level 4. He will need 3 games before Daniel can get to 4 based on their skill level differential.
I chose that almost straight on break, which usually results in more of an open table. Less action on the 8 usually than if you break from the side, but as you can see, everything is fairly spread out here, although he failed to make a ball. Hit those balls pretty well, but still didn't make anything, so we'll see now.
So settle in, folks. It should be an exciting match. Again, you can see up to 5 matches in this particular final, this being the first of 5. If you're just now tuning in, you're watching coverage of the 8-ball, APA 8-ball World Championships, the final event for us over the last 10 days. $25,000 on the line here. This is Daniel Field at the table for the team of Believe the Hype. He pockets the 6-ball in the corner. Is that the 6-ball?
No, the 6 is still on the table.
What did he pocket there?
Kind of has a snooker, doesn't he? There we go. See, he's shooting the stripes here.
So he might have pocketed the 14. Right color, wrong ball.
Yeah, at least you had half of that right. That's good. Okay, broke those open. Perfect opportunity to shoot the 13 ball here and get the 10 out of the way, or he could just come up if that 10 ball clears the 6, which it looks like it does. Just put a little bit of a draw on this.
Again, Daniel is a skill level 5 for the Evansville team. So he pockets the 13 ball there.
Yeah, it's not exactly what he wanted to do there, but he does have a shot on the 9 ball. He may have to jack up a little bit if he's going to shoot it because they're so close together. He has to tend with that 11 ball down too on the other side of the table, the fact that the 3 is hanging. So it looks like he is looking to just tap this and block this pocket, make that 1 ball. And then take a seat. And the only thing that was bad about that is that he then came on the wrong side. So now Doyle has that opportunity to shoot the 5. He wanted to make sure he'd stopped the cue ball, held it right there, something. But now Doyle has that 5 ball wide open to get out of the way.
Yeah, you're a little surprised with that decision there to move down to the other end of the table?
The only way it would have been okay is if the cue ball came on the other side of the 5.
Yeah.
Where Doyle would have to come with a big position. But we'll see now. Doyle is a skill level 4. And I'm not quite sure the balls are open enough for him at his skill level to be able to finish this rack. He's got a long shot to start this off with right here. Looks like he's shooting that 7 ball. And just
misses the 7 on the side there.
luckily the 8 ball didn't go in the pocket there. It was heading that direction.
That'll bring Daniel Field back to the table for the team of Believe the Hype. The folks from Evansville, Indiana, talked to them a little bit before the match. Looks like they play out of a place called Bob's Lounge back in Evansville, so hopefully some folks at Bob's Lounge rooting them on online. Of course, as with most of these teams, most of the teams out here, and of course these players on these teams, all met through league play, playing each other over the years.
And it looks like Daniel's going to go ahead and play this so he can knock that 6 clear from his ball. Oh.
Ooh. So maybe
Wow.
some early jitters for these two players. Again, not your normal circumstance. You have anywhere from 2 to 250 people now in the room. Of course, the big check looming over the table next to them, and of course the streaming cameras. So again, some elements these players maybe aren't quite used to, and sometimes it does take them a moment to kind of get into.
Yeah, and you can
right
hear a
mode.
pin drop in here. There's this light music in the background, but the music was higher before, and it was kind of things going on. And right
Right.
now it is totally quiet in here. And that, you know, even in the pros, we usually take a rack before you get settled in and kind
Right.
of focused. But, you know, the 8 ball kind of has the pocket blocked there, definitely for Daniel. But we'll see if Doyle, if he can run a couple of balls here. No, it's the 7. Now we'll see what Daniel can do with that 9 ball. He's got to get clear on the other side of the table. 11, no problem. 10 ball would be open, but trying to get down there. But he does have the 12 to get there.
And talking to both these teams, their respective captains assured me that they will be winning the championship, so I'm not sure what to make of that.
Is that what they said?
But
I love
confidence is definitely
That's
good
good.
for both
That's
teams,
good.
as it should be. You know, you make it from 700 and something teams down to 2. You should be a little confident.
No question. All right, well, he improved the position of the 9, that's for sure, in case he gets back to the table again. Now all of a sudden, all of his balls will pass clearly into a pocket. The 9, I believe, has just enough room to get by that 8 ball, so. And again, you were talking about, you know, getting into the finals here and the excitement of the semifinals. Just think about getting into the finals of this event. Was it 713 teams? Is that what we had?
713 teams, and then you factor in everything that a team goes through to make it out here in general.
it's
Of course, we
incredible.
talk a lot about the fact that any of the teams that have made it out here in general have already won within the local level. You know, they've placed high
Absolutely.
enough in their division, they've gone out and they've won a qualifying tournament, and now here they are in Las Vegas, where they're representing their hometown or their local league area. But
And winning the local championship is a huge feat. I mean, that's as exciting enough as it is
absolutely,
to walk away. And not too many teams can pull that off in the whole time. And I had one of the players from my area, which is in the coastal Carolina area, and he was excited. He said it took 20. He's an older gentleman,
Yeah.
very sweet man. Said it took him 23 years to get here.
wow.
So, and he never played singles or anything like that, from what I understand, but playing the team. So that was pretty
Very cool.
cool. So it's a feat just getting here.
Yeah. In fact, I was talking to the Evansville team, and they said, we came out here to party it up. And they said, but we've had to play pool the whole time. I said,
That's
yeah, well,
right.
sometimes when you do well in the tournament, that happens. You don't experience everything necessarily that Vegas has to offer because you're so locked in on the tournament. But
You know what? I
I'm
think
guessing they wouldn't trade that.
there's
for anything.
711 teams that
Exactly.
would have switched with
Certainly.
them. So,
Yeah.
and with the money they have coming, they might as well just change their ticket and
I was
stay in
gonna
there a
say,
couple of days.
They've already done far better than I've done here in the casino. That's my own doing, though. So, as my dad would say, you have no one else to blame.
That's right. All right, here we go. I'll see if Dog can make something happen here. He's leaving that 2 ball there. Instead, it's going to go for the 4 in the opposite corner. That's a difficult shot right there. I'm not quite sure. I mean, to me, the move would have been, even if the 2 ball does not go, to overcut the 2 a little bit into towards this pocket, hit it really thin, and
Right.
try to get it. If it doesn't go off, carom off the 8, it would at least sit in the pocket there and block
Right.
the pocket. So.
Of course, both these players will have, at some point, the ability to take a timeout, whether they take one or not. Generally, we see that the captains usually are the ones that will call it based on what they see the player do or about to do.
And again, normally if the player says timeout and the coach says, no, I don't think so, not right now. But when the coach says timeout, they have to absolutely
Right.
take that timeout. All right, little safety game continues here. Good play.
Nice safety there by Daniel Field.
And
Again, he's a skill level 5.
I have a feeling that they're going to have the referee come over here. Yep, he's already on his way. And again, because the cue ball is so close to the 2, and on top of that, you got the 8 right behind it. So kind of a tricky spot to be in right here. I don't think he'll be shooting right on it. Yeah, she'll be shooting away from it. See if he can actually cut it in. No.
So it's a good hit, but he fails to make the 2 in that other corner.
And this could be the one right here. Everything has moved into a good position. For Daniel, we'll see if he can run these 4 balls. Everything's wide open. You just got to pay attention there. That 7 ball is huge. So you got to pick a side you want to be on. All right. Now the shot here is definitely to go rail first on this 11 ball. If you hit the 11 first, you could get stuck behind that 7. You want to go rail first so it has a chance to come out away from the 7 and the 4. And he did.
It's the 11 ball to go.
And that's it. There you have the 8 ball right by the pocket. The 2 is not part of this shot at all. He should have no problem getting to the 8.
You see his pocket marker. I'm not sure what that is, but of course everybody has their own individual.
It looks like a talc.
Yeah,
like a talcum powder.
yeah, maybe. Of course, everybody has their different pocket markers and things that they like to use. Sometimes Lucky Charms that they carry around. Sometimes just something to dry their hands. And so Daniel Field of the Believe the Hype team gets on the board first. After pocketing the 8 ball in the corner, he now leads 1-0. Again, he needs 4 games before his opponent Doyle gets to 3 games. And again, that's all part of the skill level differential. Daniel being a 5, Doyle being a skill level of 4. If you're just tuning in, you are watching live coverage of the APA 8-Ball World Championships here at the Westgate Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. Been an outstanding 10 days here in Las Vegas. I think we had somewhere in the vicinity of 12,000 total participants over the last several days in and out. Of course, we have already crowned 4 champions. We want to go ahead and mention some of those. In the ladies division, we had the team of KQ 2.0. They were the ladies 8-ball champions. We had the team of the Big Time Misfits out of Texas that won the 9-ball world championship. We had the Smokin' Ace of Kansas City. They were the Jack and Jill doubles champions. And then last night we crowned the team of We Are One from Orange County, California in the Masters division. So you're seeing on the screen kind of a breakdown of the total prize money for each of these events, coming in at just over $1.2 million. So a lot of folks, Ava, that came out to Vegas went home maybe a little bit richer than they showed up with, right? As long as they didn't leave it in the casino like,
yeah, that's
I've
the
been doing.
risk, isn't
Yeah.
it? And then we went out in April for the singles, and quite a few of our players, they had a really good time at the craft table. They won some
Nice.
money and parlayed at the tournament,
Nice.
parlayed it into something bigger after that. So that was
That's
good.
always nice. See, and I just actually, I was talking to one of the third place teams from Miami, and I said, look, you guys are walking out of here with $7,500. Just make sure that you actually walk out with it, not, leave it down the hall here. So
Well,
we'll
some
see if
people
they
have to
heed my
donate to the
advice.
casino too, so they'll keep having us.
I've done plenty of
You
donating.
did your part,
yeah,
didn't you? Yeah.
We ran into you, or Kevin and I ran into you last night. Even you couldn't reverse our luck.
I
so.
tried. Okay, the 14 ball in the side pocket.
Daniel Field at the table.
Good shot there, nice and controlled. Obviously his main concern here is that 15 and 8 are tied up. And the problem with this is that he doesn't have any good opportunities to break them open. He does have one ball, the 12 ball that's by the side pocket, that he might be able to use as a breakup ball. You can see the 12 right there if he can get the good angle to have the cue ball drift down into the 15 and 8.
Can't quite get the 13 to go in the corner there. Looks like we've got a nice audience here on the stream, Ava. We've got about 530 people currently watching, in addition to all those here in the tournament room. For those of you watching at home, just a reminder that our fall leagues are currently forming right now. So if you're interested in getting more involved with APA, you can go to our website, poolplayers.com/live. There's a real simple form you can fill out there. Give us your name and some contact info, and we'll have a local league operator reach out to you about getting involved in the fall session. You might find yourself here next year. People could be watching you on the stream.
That's right.
Just like they're watching Doyle Calder here right now from Harahan, Louisiana, the team of Make It Work.
Well, Doyle did break open the 8 for himself there, but at the same time, he really did Daniel a favor because Doyle still has to contend with the 3, and all of Daniel's balls now are wide open. So I would say in this rack, the advantage is definitely to Daniel, even though it's so early in the rack.
Looks like this Make It Work team from Louisiana plays out of a place called the Daiquiri Stop, which I really, yeah, I know. That sounded pretty good right about now. Daiquiri Stop. I'm going to have to check that out next time I'm down that way. A couple of relatives on this team, mostly friends, and looks like they got a father-son duo and an uncle and niece duo, real common with most of our APA teams. You see, you're generally comprised of a group of family and friends, kind of what we're all about. Good opportunity to get together with the folks you like to be around once a week playing in league play. And just so happen that they've advanced here to Las Vegas. And
you never know, when we have our local team championships at home, somebody will always ask me, several people will ask, who is your favorite team? Who do you think is going to win? And there's just no telling. And that's the coolest thing about the 23 rule is that the fact that you can't stack the team. So it's always a surprise at the end of it. Who's going to make it? Oh, what a great try.
And
when it fell.
goes.
That was some pocket speed right there. Softly enough for the pocket to accept the ball. Good shot. Yeah, it's great to see, totally unexpected. Sometimes it's teams with just 5 players, and they go through the whole tournament with those 5. And
tough to do, but occasionally you do see it.
We actually had a team, was it 2 years ago, that made it to the finals of our local team championship with 4 players.
Wow.
With 4 players. They just had to play their heart out, and things went their way.
Coastal Carolina APA team?
Yeah.
Of course, for the folks at home that may not realize, Ava and her husband Mitch and her daughter and son-in-law run an APA league down there in Myrtle Beach area, right?
Myrtle Beach, in Wilmington and Brunswick County. Yeah, that's it.
Coastal Carolina APA. So, well, you'll be busy. You won't have much of a break. I know you're just back from Sweden for visiting some family and friends there, and you came out to be with us here in Vegas, and then you go back home and get the league.
Thank God for Nikki and Toby. And we have some great reps too helping out. So it's we have a good pool family where we are. So.
Yeah, speaking of reps, a lot of course, we're kind of in the final day now of the tournament here in Las Vegas, but it's been an incredible week, and really the result of a lot of people coming together and doing things well, from players that volunteer to come out and be referees, which is an exceptionally difficult job. The pressure that goes along with that, as well as the hours, and then of course a number of the APA league operators out here volunteering, of course the APA corporate staff out of St. Louis. So just a really great team effort, and then all those folks working again with the hotel, the Westgate, who's made things very comfortable for us, so we're very appreciative of everything they've done for us and their staff has done for us this week. So an outstanding event.
Between the staff here at the Westgate and the staff from the APA, it's amazing how smooth the transition was from one to the other. A few minor hiccups last year, maybe a little miscommunication, whatever, but other than that, absolutely mind-blowing when you get out here and see what it takes to put this event on, for everything to click. It was just amazing.
So Doyle cannot get the 7 ball in the corner there. Gonna bring Daniel Field back to the table. Daniel already leading by a score of 1-0. He's needing 4 games before Doyle gets to 3.
Daniel has a chance here because that 9 ball will go past the 7. I think it will accept it. You just overcut it a little bit. So he just wants to look at what angle he wants on this 9 to get over on the 15 there, which will pass by the 8 no problem. And he's got a chance here to go ahead 2-0 without letting Doyle get back to the table. Just got to slow roll this. Make sure he leaves himself an angle. Just like that. Hold on. And he's going to have quite a bit of an angle here because he's got to overcut this 9. You can see there that the majority of the pocket is blocked. There's just enough room for it to go in. You want to make sure that you overcut this a little bit because even if it hangs in the pocket, that's better than hitting the 7. There you go. And here it comes. Nice shot.
Couple folks at home asking where the teams are from. Of course, at the table now you're seeing Daniel Field, his team Believe the Hype from Evansville, Indiana. Their opponents Make It Work from Harahan, Louisiana. So Indiana and Louisiana represented here in the final round. I think we had, I believe we had 48 states represented in the 8-ball division here. So I think maybe every state besides North Dakota, maybe, or.
And we had Japanese teams from Japan
teams,
and
of course,
Canada.
Canadian teams.
We didn't have. Did we have any teams from China yet, or
Not
did
yet,
they just get
no.
started?
Of course, we started APA of China began 2015 last year, but
great shot.
Nice shot there by Daniel Field, as he now takes a 2-0 lead. But no teams from China yet. They're still kind of getting the league up and built over there, and of course, coming from China to Las Vegas is a more costly venture than those that travel maybe from the United States. So they've got to get to a certain size. But I would imagine the next couple of years, yes, we will have teams from China. And I know Kevin Hinkebein, our franchise development manager, always talking to representatives from different countries. I know Greece and Turkey. I believe he said he talked to somebody. Did he say he talked to somebody from Sweden earlier this week?
Switzerland.
Switzerland,
actually.
okay.
Yeah, Switzerland. I've been talking to some of the people in Sweden. It's just kind of a different setup there.
Yeah.
A lot of Swedes are not used to playing in kind of a leagues format, so they're investigating. But yes, he did have a meeting with somebody from Switzerland, so that would be fun.
So a lot of folks, I think across the globe, very interested in how they can send teams here. I think sometimes what they run into, though, is internationally, the game is a little different. Either the table is a little different, the pocket size is a little different. Maybe they're playing a slightly different game in some cases. So, but I think ultimately, and if folks at home are interested, of course you can get in touch with our franchise development folks by visiting our website, poolplayers.com/live, and you can just send us an email. We'll have Kevin reach out to you. Some great APA markets still out there. I know the Milwaukee area is one. I know Vancouver, Canada. That's going to be a good one for somebody. So a number of great APA markets. If you're interested in kind of a career change, that kind of thing, can reach out to us and just have a conversation. Don't have to make any big decisions, but just kind of find out what it's all about. It's a game changer, though, isn't it? You know all about it.
I do.
From the Pro Tour to the league operator role.
Who knew how much work it was going to be?
I think that does surprise quite a bit of
people.
Pro
player is easy.
Yeah, you mean you don't just print score sheets and pick up packets, right?
No.
There's a little more to it, huh?
But I think that's what makes the league so strong, too, is that it's not just, hopefully it's close enough. I mean, there is a lot of work that goes into it, so.
Yeah. Very rewarding, though, right? Very rewarding.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've met some fun, crazy people, boys, since I took over the Coastal Carolina APA. I love them.
It looks like a few of them are watching live, and Donnie Massengill.
Donnie Massengill.
He wanted to shout out for Coastal Carolina APA, so I think you accomplished his wish.
Well, that means he's late to the broadcast because we've already talked about it, so shame on you, Donnie. No, they're great. They're great.
And you said you had some teams out here this week, right?
Yes, we had 2 8-ball teams and a 9-ball team and a Jack and Jill, 2 ladies.
Wow.
And a Masters team, and also our new format that we have kind of invented thanks to Star Reed, one of our players. She kind of came with the idea, and a couple of other players talked about it also, which is Minor League Masters, which we had a lot of fun with. It's skill level 5 and below play the Masters format that is so popular that we play in the U.S. amateur and in the Masters. And
Right.
they came out here. They didn't fare so well against the regular Masters players, but we had a couple of the players won a couple of matches, so that felt really good.
Oh, did they play in the actual Masters
Yes,
division?
yes,
Okay.
sir. And then we
Yeah.
came out here, played Mini Mania, and had a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
a lot of their friends were coming out here, so it was a great experience, I think, for everybody.
That mini mania action is absolutely
Oh,
wild.
it's crazy.
I mean, it's
it's
if
crazy.
so if you're an APA member and you've never been to Vegas or you never qualified, but you have enough scores, come out. We run these mini mania tournaments 20 hours a day. It's my understanding the only reason they don't do it around the clock is because they got to shut the room down and clean it eventually, right? But
Right.
otherwise, 20 hours a day they have these ongoing tournaments of different sizes and
And you can win
different
some
formats.
really
and
good money in those.
yeah, and of course it's 100% payback. So whatever the entry fee is, all that goes back, I think, to the top 25% of the field in those particular tournaments. So something that all APA members should be aware of. You can, even if you don't qualify, you can come out and play on the big stage here in Las Vegas, and there is no stage like it, believe me. Of course, this is Doyle at the table for the team of Make It Work. It looks like the referee's going to come over and make sure that the hit is clean here.
Yeah, he shot that combination. I don't know that that was very necessary, but in this spot right here, he has all the balls open. Doyle does, and being a skill level 4, chances of him running out here is definitely not impossible by any means.
Yeah,
but
this
his first shot is going to be a little tricky because it doesn't look like he can make that 10 ball.
So he gets a
Ouch.
good hit, but unfortunately scratches. So he'll give ball in hand to Daniel Field. This is a stark contrast to what we watched last night with the Masters, isn't it? It's of course we had the Masters finals last night, and generally very high skill level players that maybe get one opportunity at the table each match. These
True.
guys go back and forth a little bit more, and again that's kind of indicative of the fact that they're amateur players and where they're at in terms of their skill level. So
Exactly.
you're seeing a 5 and a 4, and so not uncommon to see balls missed, not uncommon to see scratches made. So
Well, it'll be interesting to see which path Daniel decides to take here. Generally, what you want to do in 8 ball is you want to kind of clear a quadrant at a time. So you pick whatever ball that you take your trouble ball out of the way first. If that 2 ball does pass, you might as well get that out of the way. Come up and make the 7. Or the 4 ball in this case is also a good choice because the 4 ball, I didn't realize that was blocked there, or you can shoot the 4 on the side. But the main thing that you want to do is get rid of trouble first and then stay in one area and clear that area. You don't want the cue ball traveling too much up and down. All right, so far so good. He doesn't want to be straight in, but if he has even the slightest angle, he might be able to slam the cue ball and have it come back out for the 7.
I want to make sure I give a shout out to the folks in the St. Louis APA who are back home. I know they had a big viewing party this afternoon or early this evening to take in the final match. So I'm going to give a shout out to Ryan and Dan and the whole group that's tuning in, watching the match live here.
All right, he took the longer shot here without taking any chances. He got a shot at the 1. But again, that's going to leave that 7 down there by itself. But I think he's going to have no problem. You might as well take the shot that's available instead of taking any chances. It's about cue ball control here because, like I said, nothing is in major trouble. We'll see what he does here. Obviously, he can cut the 5 in the side, but he can also make the 3 in the side. That angle is pretty severe. A lot of people I've noticed that play in the APA, especially on the 3.5 by 7 size table, they try to avoid the side pockets.
Yeah.
That angle is kind of tough, so he went for
And
the
you saw
easier
that
cut.
right there.
Just missed it.
So
Well-
Daniel misses the 5 in the side, brings Doyle back to the table.
Time for Doyle to make his move here. He's got 5 balls plus the 8 left. Everything's open. Just bring the cue ball out here towards the center of the table, and he can have his options. 14 would be a good choice after this. There we go. Doesn't go too far. That'll work.
Of course, these two teams just half of the equation of the Final Four that made it to the last day of competition. Make sure we recognize the team from Midwest City, Oklahoma of Beat 'em with Sticks, who finished third place earlier today, as well as a team from Miami, Florida of Just Making Friends. Of course, both those teams tie for third place, and they take home $7,500 in prize money, but certainly can be very proud of the fact that they made it to the final day of competition. So no easy task there.
Left himself a bit of a tough angle here. It's easier to undercut this shot. Yeah, just like that. And the danger with that is that he knew he was going to leave some kind of a shot for Daniel if he missed it. You know, I'm always so in awe with captains and how they plan out who's going to play who,
I was
matching
just
up.
thinking the same thing, yeah.
And as much as I've been around it, you know, I've had the league now for 7 years, and I still don't quite get the best strategy. But plus, you need to know your players too.
Right.
Who likes to play the first, you know, round? Who doesn't mind the pressure?
Know the player, know the situation. Yeah.
Some, you know, you have some threes that love playing sixes, or sixes that love playing fours, or you know what I mean.
Right.
So it's kind of individual, and you know your team. So.
Yeah, always an interesting dynamic there, and I don't know that any of, you know, I think they all have their different rhyme and reason for how they do it, but it definitely is an interesting thing to kind of watch the strategy, and of course it has a huge impact on the match depending on how you match up. So.
Oh yes. And I was really proud of, talked to a couple of the teams that were still here when I got here, and they said that one thing they made sure of is that everybody got to play at least once. Even if it wasn't the strongest, if you had 2 threes on the team, one stronger than the other, they still let everybody play to where everybody got to say, I played out in Vegas, which I think is very cool. It's not just about trying to, you know, win the big money and, and go all the way.
Yeah, everybody wants a little taste of the experience.
Oh, absolutely.
He worked so hard to get here. And there's Daniel now cleaning up the table, gets the 5 to go on the side. Not sure position on the 8 ball, a little tough to tell from here. Maybe
yeah,
he's
overhead okay.
Shot.
As
yeah,
you can see, it's a little bit more of an angle than you would like, but I have a feeling he's going to make these. This is skill level 5.
So he's going to have a good shot to go on the hill very quickly here in this first match.
And it looks like he doesn't have to worry about, even if he hit it firm, he's not going to scratch across side because the 13 is there. Just make sure you hit this with some high so you don't flirt with the side. Nice shot,
Daniel
never a doubt.
Puts the 8 ball in the corner pocket and now takes a decisive 3-0 lead. He is now on the hill, needing only 1 game to secure the first match. And if he's able to win this next game, not only will he win the match, but he will take a 3-0 lead for his team, which is obviously very important as we move through the team match here. Again, just a quick breakdown of how that works. The winner in the case of a shutout would get 3 points. The winner in the case where the losing player makes it to the hill, Doyle's case, he would need to get to 2 games. They would split 2-1. And when the losing player wins at least 1 game but does not make it to the hill, the opponents split the points 2-0. So, big game right here. Seeing some, looks like the Evansville team starting to relax a little bit. You see them kind of communicating back and forth. This is Daniel checking the rack. And we talked a little bit about this on the broadcast yesterday, but just trying to identify if there's any gaps and where those gaps might be. And looks like he's comfortable with the rack there.
Daniel started out breaking from the very center, or just off center, but failed to make a ball, so he's moved over to the side now. And obviously breaking from the side, hitting that second ball, you got more of a chance of the 8 ball going. But it normally results in a bit of a more of a cluster too, but
so
not this
the
time.
9 and the 14 to drop there.
Definitely has the stripes, and again, APA 8 ball, part of what makes it interesting from somebody running away with anything is that you don't have a choice just because you make a ball. You have to go with the ball that you made.
I guess see Mike Massey there in the crowd, kind of taking in some of the action, making his way out now. So it's tough to miss him back there in the crowd. He's such a big guy.
He is. All right, definitely going to have the referee look at this. If you hit the cue ball when it's this close and you don't get that tip out of the way in time, especially with a cushion being right there too, it's going to be a double hit, and that will be a foul. So, and it will be called. Oh, that'll work.
Very
Nice shot. You can see he didn't elevate 30 degrees. He went all the way up and almost shot it like a Massey shot to make sure he avoided the double hit.
He pockets the ball. I can't tell there if he's got a shot on what looks like the 15 ball.
He's got a shot at it, but all he's going to be able to do is to try to make both the 1 and the 15.
Yeah.
If not, hit at the speed where it at least will, block the pocket for the 3 ball down there, and then he'll have the 10 on one side, the 3 on the other to block the pocket. All right, Doyle, that 3 ball is going to be a trouble. Daniel's plan worked out there. You might as well just go ahead and see if he can tap in the 2 ball here. I think his only chance at this point is to really make sure that he doesn't make any unforced errors and play some defense. That's a good shot, great shot.
Kind of going through some of the comments here on the stream. See Bruce Bartholet saying hi, Mike, whoever Mike would be.
Oh, he probably saw Mike walking in the background.
Oh, Mike Massey.
Mike
there
Massey.
We go. Yeah, of course, Bruce Bartholet, our league operator up there in Connecticut. Bruce, known in the trick shot circles. I think you've done some trick shot work with him, right?
Oh, you're talking about Bruce Bartholet, the big guy that my team beat when we played them in trick shots.
Okay,
you're talking about that?
I didn't mean to bring up well, if you beat him, it's definitely not a sore subject.
Well, now that I know he's listening, it's enjoyable to that. I pointed that out. I'm sure he enjoyed that. Yeah, he just left yesterday. He had some teams go pretty far yesterday. So his ladies team was kind of a wonderful story. I know that they actually won, the team from Connecticut.
That's the KQ 2.0.
Yeah.
And I know they had a team member, Allison, who
it was
been in a really tragic motorcycle accident that I think it claimed the life of her fiance.
It did.
And I know
they were supposed to get married out here, from what I understand.
She was unable to make it out, so I know they were dedicating that victory to her. And
incredible story.
Yeah, that was an emotional, definitely an emotional win there in the ladies 8-ball championship. A feel-good story, at least in terms of the tournament and their success and what that means for them as a team. So
this is the first time out we've seen.
Yeah, which is interesting too at this. At this point in the tournament, you'd think they would, but I guess they haven't felt necessary at this point. Of course, it's kind of do or die in this game here for Doyle, his opponent now on the hill.
And sometimes you have the situation where unless the player says, I want a timeout, the coach just leaves the player alone.
Right.
In the other teams, the coach feels like it's running the whole team, and when they say, I want a timeout, so that's also an individual kind of thing.
Right.
And even as a 7, if I were playing, I would want even my 6 or 5 come out if it was a tricky situation, just to talk about it and get a different view, and maybe you would look at something and go, oh my goodness, I didn't even think about that option.
Yeah. Some folks asking, yes, this is the first match of the APA World 8-ball championships. Of course, we got a little bit of a late start, the semifinal round. Some very close matches there, which means longer matches, which meant a little bit of a delayed start. So if you're just now tuning in, yes, this is the first individual matchup of the finals. Again, you're watching live coverage of the APA 8-ball World Championships here in Las Vegas.
Oh no.
Tough break there for Doyle, and you can see his frustration.
And this could be it right here.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that Daniel has all 3 balls together down there, everything is open. And either way he goes here, you just got to pay attention, because when it's this seemingly easy, it's easy to lose the cue ball a little bit. You go, well, I'll just have to, make this, and then you still need to play position for one ball all the time.
So Daniel will have ball in hand to work with after the scratch by Doyle.
Looks like he's chosen to play at 10, 15, 13, 11, 8.
That's impressive.
It is?
That order, yeah, that's impressive. Of course, like you were talking about yesterday, a lot of times the higher skilled players are going to be able to look at the table and see where the balls are and kind of establish a pattern for which they want to work.
And at a skill level 5, this to me was pretty basic. But the thing is, everybody's got their own kind of feel too, what feels better to them.
Right.
But more often than not, especially when the balls are open like that, there's a better pattern than others. So everybody's got their own way of seeing it. There you go. Now he just needs to shoot a stop shot here, maybe drift it up a hair, and he's got the 8 ball right in the side. Just a little tap in right here. And this is huge for Team Believe the Hype. The fact that they can get a 3-0 lead right here. It'll be interesting to see if
Daniel's marked the pocket. Now keep in mind, he's had a little bit of trouble with this, with these side pockets.
This is dead straight in, though. He would have to choke a little bit on this one, I think, Jason.
No problem for Daniel Field there, folks, as he has secured the first individual match with a 4-0 victory over Doyle Calder. That is going to put the team of Believe the Hype on the board first, and they will get 3 points for that particular match because of the shutout. As the players survey their rosters and take a look at who they want to put up next, let's take a look at some of the other sights and sounds from this year's World Pool Championships.